The best cordless vacuum for pet hair should pass our debris containment test, pass our flower clog test, be highly resistant to hair tangling, have a lot of power, and have a large dustbin. The Bissell Featherweight doesn't have any of these things. Neither does the Black & Decker Power Series, the Hoover 1 Power Blade Plus, the Orfeld V20, or, ironically, the Shark Pet. All of these vacuums failed our debris containment test. Much of the fine debris they pick up, they exhaust into the air. Those that we tested for clogging also failed our flower clog test. Much of the fine debris they pick up clogs up their pre-filters, which reduces suction quickly and requires you to clean their filters frequently. Those that we tested for hair tangling performed poorly in our hair tangling tests, and all of them have low power and small dustbins. The Black & Decker Power Series Extreme improves in one category, dustbin size. Otherwise, it's not a good vacuum for pet hair. The Bissell Air Ram, again, only has a large dustbin. Here you can see it exhausting fine debris in our debris containment test. The Eureka Rapid Clean Pro only passed our flower clog test. Here you can see how easily it tangles with hair up to 8 inches long. The Dyson OmniGlide only passed our debris containment test. Of special note here is its tiny dustbin, with a maximum measured capacity of only 100 milliliters. The Tineo A10 is the first vacuum in our rankings that tangled with a relatively low percentage of 8-inch long hair. It also has a reasonable amount of power, though it's not a great vacuum for pet hair otherwise. The NC-N5S tangles with an even lower percentage of 8-inch long hair, and has a well above average sized dustbin, but it has very low tested power, and failed our fog and flower tests, like the A10. The Kenmore Elite CSV Max tangled with the lowest percentage of 8-inch long hair of any vacuum mentioned in our rankings so far. It also has an above average sized dustbin, and passed our debris containment test, but it still failed our flower clog test and has relatively low power. Next up is the Tineo Pure 1 S12 and Tineo A11. Compared to the Kenmore, these Tineos have very similar hair pickup performance with smaller bins but more power. We value power over bin size when it comes to vacuuming pet hair, so these Tineos rank slightly higher. The LG Cord Zero is the first vacuum in our rankings that didn't tangle at all with 8-inch long hair, and it passed our flower clog test. Unlike most other lower ranked vacuums, the Cord Zero is multi-cyclonic. It uses multiple cyclones to filter out fine debris and keep it from accumulating on its pre-filter. This goes a long way in helping maintain suction and minimizing filter maintenance over time. On the negative side of things, the Cord Zero has a small dustbin and failed our debris containment test. It's not easy to see, but in this close-up view, you can see fog seeping out of the top of the main body of the vacuum. The Shark Vertex Pro Liftaway also failed our debris containment test. It does tangle slightly more easily with 8-inch long hair than the LG, but it tangles much less easily with 14-inch long hair, and it has a much larger dustbin. The Vertex Pro Liftaway, with its unique design, also performed reasonably well in our flower clog test, despite not being multi-cyclonic. The same isn't true for most other Sharks we tested. The non-liftaway Vertex Pro, the Cordless Pro, and the Stratos all failed our flower clog test because they're not multi-cyclonic. Unlike the multi-cyclonic LG and the Vertex Pro Liftaway though, these Sharks passed our debris containment test. They're also more resistant to tangling with especially long hair. The standard Vertex Pro tangled with 2% of 8-inch long hair, but only 50% of 14-inch long hair in our tests. The Cordless Pro didn't tangle at all with 8-inch long hair, and only 20% of 14-inch long hair. The Stratos also didn't tangle at all with 8-inch long hair, and it tangled with only 1% of 14-inch long hair. A caveat here is that the cleaner heads of these vacuums do have these small wheels that can also tangle with hair, and it can be difficult to detangle hair from these wheels because they're non-removable. The only other real weakness for these Sharks is that they clog easily with fine debris. The problem is that this is a substantial weakness that heavily impacts your day-to-day use of the vacuum. Fine debris accumulating on the vacuum's pre-filter reduces suction quickly and requires frequent cleaning. Overall, these vacuums are highly resistant to hair tangling, with 8-inch and with 14-inch long hair, which is why they're as high as they are in our rankings. But we really don't like how they failed our flower clog test, which is why they're ranked below all of the vacuums that follow. Next up is the Dyson V12, which is multi-cyclonic and easily passed our flower clog test. It also passed our debris containment test and has more power than any Shark. On the negative side of things, it doesn't have a cap over this part of its cleaner head. More expensive Dysons, like the V15 and Gen 5 Dysons, add a cap to this part of the cleaner head to prevent hair from tangling in this area. The V12 cleaner head doesn't have this cap, and so hair tangles around this area, and this hair can be difficult to remove. Note that this doesn't really make a difference with hair up to 8 inches long, because the vacuum doesn't really tangle with hair up to 8 inches long. However, it does make a difference with hair up to 14 inches long, because the V12 actually tangles with this longer hair, and much of it tangles around this area of the cleaner head. Another problem for the V12 is its bin size. Its bin has a maximum measured capacity of only 150 milliliters, which fills up extremely quickly with any debris, but especially with pet hair. The V12 would be an excellent vacuum for pet hair, except for these issues. Because of these issues, tangling around this part of its cleaner head and its small bin, the V12 falls all the way to 11th place in our rankings. The Dyson V8 has the exact same cleaner head with the exact same issue tangling with 14-inch long hair as the Dyson V12, but it has a larger bin with twice the maximum measured capacity as the V12, so we rank it slightly higher. The Dyson V10 also has the same cleaner head as the V12, with the same tangling issue with 14-inch long hair, but its bin is considerably larger, with a maximum measured capacity of 500 milliliters, so we rank it above the V12 and the V8. The Dyson V11 again has the same cleaner head, with the same bin size as the V10, but it has more power than the V10, which puts it higher in our rankings. The Samsung Bespoke Jet, like all of these Dysons, also passed our debris containment and flower clock tests, tangled with only a few strands of 8-inch long hair, and has really good suction. It does tangle with a slightly higher percentage of 14-inch long hair, and some of it also gets past its brush roll into this area of its cleaner head, but this hair is very easy to remove. It does have a smaller dustbin than the V11 and V10, but it comes with an auto-emptying station, which makes emptying it very easy and simple to do. The Samsung Jet 75 tangled with up to 75% of 14-inch long hair, but all of that hair tangles around its brush roll and is easy to remove. It also has a much larger dustbin than the Bespoke Jet, still with self-emptying capability and with similar performance otherwise, so it's higher in our rankings. We rank the Shark Vertex above Samsung's and most Dysons because it's much more resistant to tangling with 14-inch long hair, and it passed our flower clog test despite not being multicyclonic. Compared to other popular Sharks, the Vertex adds this plastic baffle to its bin, which does a great job of preventing fine debris from depositing on its pre-filter. The one negative to this design is reduced airflow. The Vertex has substantially less power than the vacuums that follow. The Dyson V15 is the first of those vacuums. It's much more powerful than the Vertex. It tangles more easily with 14-inch long hair, but at least adds a cap to this part of its cleaner head so the hair only tangles around its brush roll, where it's easy to remove. It also tangles ever so slightly less than the Vertex with 8-inch long hair. As a complete package for vacuuming pet hair, this is one of the best cordless vacuums we've tested. The Gen 5 Detect is basically an upgraded, more advanced V15. Its most important upgrade relative to pet hair pickup is its Gen 5 post-motor filter. The Gen 5 filter has been tested to remove 99.99% of particles as small as 0.1 microns. Older Dysons with this purple filter have only been tested to remove 99.99% of particles as small as 0.3 microns. The Gen 5 Detect also has other upgrades like an on-off button versus the V15 power trigger that you have to hold down to keep the vacuum powered on. It also has a more dynamic particle meter and an integrated brush and crevice tool. These upgrades don't really make it that much of a better vacuum than the V15 for pet hair specifically, but they do make it a better vacuum overall. And it does have a better filter for keeping microscopic pet dander particles properly contained inside of the vacuum, so it goes above the V15 in our rankings. The Dyson Outsize takes a step back when it comes to filter quality. It has the older purple Dyson filter, but it takes 2 huge steps forward with bin size and cleaner head size. It has a massive 1.5 liter bin and 12.5-inch wide cleaner head. The average cordless vacuum only has a half-liter bin and a 10-inch wide cleaner head. The Outsize's large bin and cleaner head go a long way in increasing the efficiency with which you can clean your home. You can empty its bin 3 times less frequently than average, and clean any particular space up to 25% faster than average. These outsize features are especially helpful if you have a pet that sheds a lot, with a lot of hair that needs to be picked up frequently. The only cordless vacuum better for picking up pet hair than the Dyson Outsize is the Dyson Gen 5 Outsize. With the same size dustbin and cleaner head, the Gen 5 outsize gives you the same cleaning efficiency as the outsize and adds Dyson Gen 5 features, including a better, more restrictive post-motor filter for keeping especially small particles properly contained inside of the vacuum. An on-off button, the outsize requires you to hold a trigger down to keep it powered on. A particle meter, the outsize doesn't have one at all. And an integrated brush and crevice tool. The Gen 5 outsize also adds an additional soft roller cleaner head and an extra battery. And it performed better than the outsize in our 14-inch long hair test, with a tangle rate of only 1% versus 60% for the outsize. Like the outsize, it didn't tangle with any hair in our 8-inch long hair test. It also passed our debris containment and our flower clog tests. And it has exceptionally high tested power. This is hands down the best cordless vacuum you can buy for vacuuming pet hair. It comfortably holds the #1 spot in our rankings. See the description of this video for links to buy each of the top ranked vacuums and for our latest updated rankings if they've changed since the making of this video. And thank you for watching.